Welcome back to the channel, guys, your home of hopium-free crypto and economic market cycle updates. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are on this beautiful planet of ours. Today's video, worst time is approaching us for Bitcoin and crypto trading. I think we're just starting to see the beginning of that. So stay tuned. Let's dive into that in the charts, of course, and then look at some of the examples that are happening on some of the most highly traded cryptocurrencies right now. First up, drop that spoon if you're eating your cereal, hit the like button and subscribe button. Now only 2 out of 10 of you haven't hit subscribe, so you're doing very well. Bell notification icon, let YouTube know you want to see more of this content. And of course, our investor newsletter coming out this week. Free investor newsletter, name, email, link in the video description. Bitcoin, crypto, real estate. This is stuff that Michael and I are investing in ourselves, and we cover this with our members and then also give you a good rundown in the free newsletter over there. Bybit, of course, 4,450. Michael and I are working on some other sign-up bonuses here, so make sure you are a member using our links in the video description. Check it out down below. And for the Aussies, your on-ramp is SwiftX. Check it out. 10 bucks a free Bitcoin over there. All right, so where are we? Bitcoin, this is the monthly chart over here. I'm going all the way back to 2010. These are some of the worst periods that we can see over the course or over the history of Bitcoin. Now, this isn't only Bitcoin. This isn't a phenomena in Bitcoin. It's actually across the markets as well. Things tend to slow down in the summer period. People go away, they go on holidays. Look at the rest of us out here enjoying the summer in the northern hemisphere, while everyone back home, at least my home in Australia, and the rest of the guys in the southern hemisphere are coping with winter before the summer arrives. A quick rundown before we get to the monthly stuff on Bitcoin. What we can see here for BTC, bringing it up to date, well, it's basically grinding around. We've had the short-term 50% levels. They've been hit. We had the little fake out and the move above. This is the grind that we're seeing. And basically the move ended around the 20th, and in some markets the 18th or 19th of July, and then we basically ground around at those levels. The odd market obviously moving. I've got 2 resistance levels further up should Bitcoin break out of that 24,700. The first little resistance level, the short-term stuff, is still 23,700. You can see that it's been respected, and the market has basically trying to come back and test that and break it again to the downside. My support's still 21.7, I think it's going to come back and test that eventually, and 21,100 with the final one here being at 20,700. So that's the short-term levels that you can see Bitcoin bouncing around for trading opportunities. But like I said in yesterday's video, I think things are much tougher now, and we saw that with the swing chart video as well. I'll leave a link to that at the end of this one, so stick around for the whole video and then you can click on that and have a look at that trading system. And there are periods where the trades are so much easier and so much cleaner, and that's what we want to look for. That's why we work towards the macro chart as well, and then you can make some easier trades on the micros, on the hourlies, on the dailies, that sort of thing. Just before I click over to Bitcoin, the macro look, the resistance levels above here, as I mentioned, 28,000, and then we have a few other levels up here, 29.5, and then the tops here at about 31,400. So it's a churny, choppy type of market. I still think we've got some tests to 23.5-ish, down to 21.5 before we start to get a move on towards 25, 28, 29K. Reason being is the worst period is approaching us. So statistically speaking, just looking at what has happened over the course of August, and we can look at September as well, throughout the entire history of Bitcoin. Last year, Bitcoin, 13.6% up, and then September was that reversal month. Now I also want to show some of the notes here. So 2 points for the bull and the bear macro. The bull reason, we may see a turning or a stopping point in the market during these periods, and the bulls, in terms of the market sentiment, they'll get really excited that this is the end and all the bears were wrong and we're about to go up again, and then they all get absolutely smacked and dropped again. This is just what happens out in the market in terms of the market sentiment. I focus a lot on market psychology because it is really easy to see if you're following YouTube and Twitter on an everyday basis, and you can just see how much of the moon boys get really excited, and the people who are just bull only on Bitcoin and then all of a sudden they just go a little bit more quiet, or they flip to the bear side as soon as they see some downside happening. So the bear reason for this particular move is that it lacks momentum. So initially it looks okay, and it is okay to be to have some sort of stopping point in the market, basically a turning point that is still strong. If the car has been falling down the hill and you get a time in the market where it just stops and then holds up and then turns around, that's pretty good for the market, but it doesn't mean that it's about to take off into new all-time highs, and that's why I've still got a bear reason here. I've got another point on this in a moment, but let's just go back to the stats here. August of 2021, sure, up 13%, but it's nothing that grand. You know, the move basically ended in April. We can see that now. The excitement ended in April and May. The excitement tried to come back in November. Really not much happened from that point. Yes, huge gains, all that sort of thing, but if you're really just taking a look at here at Bitcoin, the move basically ended in April. So the reversal was in September. Going back to 2020, we see that the market topped out in August. There was only a 2% gain from open to close, but sure, the market did go a little higher. September, turnaround point, basically the pullback, the correction, and then the move happens. We go back to 2019. It was in a downtrend at this point, or just starting to get on that move. We had August down a few percent, and then September kept it going. 2018, we had a little bump in July that led into August, and then down again. Basically, not much happened at this period. So we had either a nothing, or we had a turning point, basically like an inflection in the market that gave us some sort of stopping volume, which is what Wyckoff would have called it. Now we go back to 2017, which was in a rampant bull market. We're up 65%. So here's one of the outliers in this, this whole history here. But it was in a strong bull market. So it went up 65%. You can see some of these later months went up 50 and was more than 40% at the end of that. But what happened the next month, September, it was able to pull the market back again. So this period, although it had a strong move up, September still showed a bit of a pullback from that move. That was in a strong bull market. We're not in a strong bull market at the moment. August 2016, down month. September, didn't really know what it wanted to do after it had been shocked, and it was on the start of a bull market. So again, not that great for basically buying into the market and then hoping for the best in terms of trades. But sure, you could have been short. There was some opportunity, and you still had time in September to wait for the breakout in October. So basically, patience, that's what we're looking at here. Going back 2015, market dumped. Sure, you could take some shorts here, but if we're sort of like dollar cost averaging in, another opportunity to dollar cost average, but the market still went down here. So one of the worst periods when we're looking at it from the perspective of a bull-only scenario. September, market didn't really go anywhere after that shock of August. 2014, down. September also followed down. Going back to 2013, we can see the market was up a little here after the shock from that peak in April, similar to what we saw in April of 2021. And then we also saw the peak in late March and April of this year in 2022. But looking at August, we are just up 32, 33%. September paused. So there's still this sort of market not knowing what it wants to do. It is trying its best to continue up, but there's always this thing in the market around this time of year that either stops some sort of momentum, or it's able to turn it, or nothing really happens. It sounds like every scenario can happen, but when you can see it on the chart, it's just not a time that we see very strong momentum, especially if we're in a sideways accumulation market or a bear market. So we're in a potentially sideways accumulation and or a bear market. And what history has shown is that this is still not the time for August to be pumping and giving us any sort of those massive gains. So trading is more difficult in these times. And if we know that, then we can keep our stops closer if we are trading cryptocurrencies. And that's how we protect ourselves, understanding the macro view of the market if we're still trying to trade the micro. So the micro is much easier to trade the fourth quarter and the first quarter of the years. They're the times that we see much bigger moves. All right, that's what we're getting to, and we'll do some more update videos on that as the quarters roll on. August in 2012, market moved up, back down, not much of a move overall, 8%. September was within that previous month, so not much really happened. Nothing much happened for October, and then you get the kick on towards the end of the year. August 2011, down, September down. Sure, you could be trading short here, but it's just not that momentum that the bulls are expecting. And that's why I don't think the bear market is over. And we could still see another low. Doesn't mean it has to go below 17, but I think we're around those levels at the moment. Last one here is August of 2010. Obviously, we don't have too much data there as Bitcoin was only born in 2009. Not much happened there. September up and down, basically an even close in both of these bars. So the history has shown, especially in a bear market or a sideways market, that August is just not that period for those big explosive moves that we're going to see for Bitcoin or for cryptos, which then we add to our plans. You guys have asked about plans. This is how I add that to my plan. If I know that from history that this is just not going to be that period that we're going to see explosive gains in cryptos, we can then keep our stops reasonably close in terms of taking losses, or if we're going to take profits, then we just know we're not going to expect any sort of big moves that we've seen in the past, especially in bull markets. So the three of the most highly traded cryptos, we're going to look at ETH first. You can see that the move, basically, you could argue that it ended around July 19th, or you could potentially go up to 28th of July. But from that peak to the next peak is only, call it 10%. So I'm just looking at the moves here for August, and it's been down for the later part of July coming into August. So right now, July was the period. August seems like we just need to have this bit of a pullback to see what we can muster up for that next move. Of course, Ethereum, it's got some big news coming up for the merge, so maybe this will be the outlier in the crypto space at the moment. Matic will also be following that same footprint as Ethereum at this point. But you can see that the peak was around 18th of July. Sure, this one went slightly higher, but it's just not much of a trading range, especially if you're on a daily chart. So just looking at the ranges, going back, looking at marrying this in with the analysis of Bitcoin and what happens in August. Sure, maybe we see an outlier because Matic is similar to ETH, but at the moment it's just not showing that it's wanting to get that momentum on for now. We break 103, let's revisit this. And then Solana has been a pretty highly traded cryptocurrency. Again, the peak was the 19th. It tried again on the 30th. So you can see that happen around the mid of the month, and then later in the month, all these cryptos tried to push to new highs, but it's a lower high again, and it's just becoming a bit of a choppy sideways trading range. So with that in mind, and if you wait till the end of this video, you'll see that video that I did on the swing indicator here, so the Gann swing indicator. This can then take out some of those trades which churned and chopped and lose money, knowing the macro picture that, in this case, August may not be the best time to be trading. And then you can start to protect your positions if you were making gains in July, and then just take a step back from the market, because no one can be in the market 24/7 and switched on 24/7. It just is way too much to be doing in the market. So looking at these bull reasons, we've seen that it can be a stopping or a turning point in the market. The bear reason, yes, the stopping turning point, we start to move up for the bull, but the bear reason is that it lacks momentum to the upside. And eventually, I think we'll start to roll over and come back to either get close to testing the current low or exceeding it. So it could be a higher low. We don't go as low as 17,500 in Bitcoin, maybe we go to 18 or 19, but it's still a significant low, and that still leads us into the later part of the year and still works in with our 4-year cycle plan, which I put out on the channel in February and was talking about it with the members a month or two earlier as well. So this is still all falling into our macro plan that we have had on the channel here for over 6 months now. So the bear reason, markets have not had enough time, energy gathered to get that real pump on. This is just part of markets, that they take time to accumulate before they start to pump up again. And so this is what I'm seeing as potentially a balanced market. This is what it looks like because it's in a churny, choppy range. The buyers and the sellers, depending on the time frame that we're looking, are basically balanced. We're getting this trading range of 17 to 23K. If that continues, then it's basically a balanced market at these prices. This period is the most difficult to trade. When the bars are all overlapping, the candles, you're getting a lot of price ranges overlapping. It's much more difficult to trade than a long-term trend, something that is nice and clean, and this is where the most money is made at the quickest point in time. And that's what I like to wait for with my crypto trading, and I don't need to buy the lows. I don't care about buying all of these lows that have happened here. Don't worry about dollar cost averaging in, and we're just waiting for that nice big move up. So I hope that's helped add some other rules into your trading plan to either save you money or make you money. If it has, smash up the likes, let YouTube know you want to see more of this content, and of course subscribe to the channel. And there's lots of ands here. The Investor Accelerator newsletter. So there's even more information that Michael and I publish over there. Don't forget your Bybit shill links for $4,450, and also SwiftX link down below for your Aussies and their on-ramps. All right, guys, thanks for your attention in today's video. I'll see you back real soon. Have a fantastic weekend. The summer looks absolutely beautiful here, and I'll potentially see you at the Athens meetup tomorrow. So the Greek meetup that I'm putting on tomorrow here in Athens, where I currently am for the next couple of days. If you want more info, link is in the video description as always. So until the next one, peace out.